how to set up your email in Outlook. So what you do is you go to File, you can click Add Account, or you can check whether you have already some accounts set up, which I have in this case, and I can click New here. So first I'll do it like this, just click Add Account. So here I type my name, and in this box the way you type it here will show how your email will be recognized when you send out an email. So what I always do is I separate between my personal and my company name like this, but you can pick any format you like. So here I type my email address and I pick the password here, which was given by your hosting provider, which could be me. So I can set it up in two ways. I can manually configure the server settings, or I can just click Next, and I can have Outlook do a check. This might actually take about a minute, so don't worry about that. Just get a coffee or something, just wait for anything to show or to happen. So when you see this, it tries to look for an encrypted connection, which you probably will not have because your server is not behind an SSL certificate. Well, 99 out of 100 times it will not. So you can, without any problem, click Next and have a check for more stuff. So after a while, all checks will have been checked, and you're sort of ready to go. In this case, it created an IMAP email account by default. IMAP I would prefer over POP3 because IMAP synchronizes all your emails on your different devices. So for instance, if you read your email on your mobile phone and on your computer, once you read it on your mobile phone, it will also appear as read on your computer. So you will see the email appear on both devices, but when you read it on one, it will also show as read on the other one. So which makes it easier to manage. I click Finish here now, and as you can see in the account settings, my email address has been set up successfully. Okay, so now I will show you how to set up your email and manually configure the server. So for that, I will add a new account. I click email account here. I will distinguish between the other email address by just typing info here, because the address will be info@splash.com. So I will fill in the password given again by your hosting provider. Now I will click manually configure server settings or additional server types. I will click Next, and I will make known here that it's an email address, and I click here IMAP as an option. So the incoming mail server for your domain will always be mail dot and then the name of your domain. So in my case it will be splash.com, but it might also be whatever.nl or your domain and the extension. So the outgoing mail server and the incoming mail server are exactly the same. So I will type twice mail.mydomain and then the extension. The username is always the complete email address you were provided by your hosting provider. You were given by your hosting provider. So in this case it will be info@splash.com. The password, of course, we still have that. Now this is very important. You do not tick the box saying require logon using secure password authentication, because that's the one we're not going to use. But remember, password is really easy to tick, and you will also want to test your account settings. Well, I was successful in this test, so I close. If I tick this box, it will again check if I click next, so I will untick it here because I checked manually. You can always check this box, the more settings, because this is an important one for the outgoing server. You have to tick this one, my outgoing server requires authentication, because you are sending the emails through the same server as the one you receive emails with, which will be mail.yourdomain and the extension. So if you are, for instance, with a company like KPN or Ziggo, you can use the outgoing mail server settings given by your ISP, your internet service provider. But in case you don't want that and you use my email settings here, like mail.splash.com, you have to tick in outgoing server, my outgoing server requires authentication. Otherwise you will only be able to receive emails but not to send them out. Okay, so I tick this box, my outgoing server requires authentication, use the same settings as my incoming mail server, which is correct, click OK, and I click next here. And I'm done, finished. So I have 3 email accounts set up now here. One is default, which says that if I type a new email, if I start typing a new email, this is the email account which will be default. Let me show you. If I click new email, I can pick an email address here, which will be the one I will be sending from, and it says here from info@splash. So if I tick here and make this default, it will put it on top. If I make this default, I will put that on top. If I make this default, I will put that on top. So if I click new email, it will show here my default email address as being the one where I'm sending from. I can always change that. If I want, for instance, send an email from this email account, I can pick it here. Now the thing is, if people email you on your Splash account and you will reply, it will automatically also send it back again from your Splash account. So that's something you don't have to worry about. Okay, well, that's it. Good luck.